So all of these things came together and I wrote the play, and then I thought, I'm an actress. I should write a play about this book, Changing Shoes. So I got together with a young Shakespearean actor who was 30, and I was in my 60s. And together we wrote the play, Changing Shoes, which has gone all over the country. I did it in Houston, Texas, where President and George H.W. and Barbara Bush were in the front row. I've done it in New York several times. You know, I did it for 1,790 people in New Orleans. So I've done it all over the place, and I have had more fun doing it at Girlfriend's Weekend, because this group is real readers at the Girlfriend's Weekend in Jefferson, Texas. They're readers from all over the country, and there's such a different audience, and it's such an interesting audience because they're so well read. So when I'm talking about doing a commercial that isn't Chekhov, they know just what I'm talking about. And I found that really interesting, and the people I've met here have been so like you, Marcia, have been so literate and smart, and it's been so much fun to be here.
Well, let me ask you a question. The tagline for your book is Changing Shoes, Staying in the Game with Style, Humor, and Grace. You seem to have it all together. What kind of advice would you give to baby boomer women right now?
Well, I do think that when the time comes that you sort of want to throw in the towel, that's the time to keep going. I mean, you know, when the show was over, I was old enough to have retired anyway, but I chose to stay in the game. I chose to write this book, Changing Shoes, and to write the play, Changing Shoes. Because if I didn't, you know, it was going to be over. And I'm just such a believer in getting outside your comfort zone. And I think you have to stay in the game, you have to step outside your comfort zone every single day.
So you think maybe as women we have to fight that notion of being invisible with age?
Oh, I think we are invisible. I mean, there's no choice about it, but we can be good-looking invisible people. But if we're walking down with young girls, it's not in the genes for DNA for men to look at us as opposed to this beautiful young girl, but we can still be appreciated. I mean, I'm often appreciated as, you know, I'll be 70 in a year, so I'm appreciated for keeping myself pulled together in some form. But I mean, obviously I don't show my arms anymore because they're all crepey, and I have wrinkles on my face, and I have gray hair, which I do color. But that's who I am, and once you get the humor of it and accept it, it's okay.
One of the most poignant things in your book was when you packed up your short strapless dresses and you sent them to your niece.
Yes.
Just share a little bit about that, because I think I better go home and clean out my closet.
It was the most painful moment. I knew I could no longer wear strapless dresses, and I have now gotten these little shrugs, so I probably could go back to wearing them with the shrugs hiding my arms. But I came home and I looked at them, and they were really, as my mother used to say, jeune fille, for the young girl. And they were too jeune fille for me, so I sat down on the ground, and I remember I went through dress after dress, and this would be one I'd worn to the Emmys, my first Emmy 35 years ago. And the other one would be a dress I wore when I fell in love with a Venice gondolier or something, you know, but they all had so many memories. And yet I thought they should be on a young girl. And so I thought, my niece is the young girl, she's pretty, she should have these dresses. I shouldn't just store them to look at them for my memories. I kept one or two. But I packed them all up, and I remember the UPS man came, and I really cried. I sat in a pile of them and just went, my youth is over. But that's what it was. It was over. And by moving on, it was okay.
Well, we have to get back to hear the next speakers,
Oh,
but
yes.
I want to thank you for just sharing part of yourself and just being a fabulous woman at any age.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Marcia. Bye.